swear if I could go back in time and tell the woman that stood up for our right to work.
Women of color have always worked. Okay, stay with me here. Women of color worked so much that white women didn't have to work.
I'm gonna take the baton from here, and I'm gonna tell y'all how after slavery, a lot of African American women opted to be stay-at-home moms, and they won't have that. So a lot of cities passed laws that forced black women to go back to.
Please let me add on to this. Oh, come on in and let's learn something new. We've all seen this article floating around, but the story gets a little juicier. Let's go on a quick little journey. Now, this article is from Greensville, South Carolina Daily News, and it was printed on October 2nd, 1918. Now, blank women to be put to work. I don't want to get banned. City ordinance soon to be passed requiring them to regularly be employed. Now, let's get deep into the article. There's some key words here that, yeah, let's go. Now, one key thing to keep in mind, it says they can be jailed or heavily fined. You'll need that information later on in this video. And also, at its special meeting yesterday, City Council discussed the situation with regards to the class of loafers at some length. Now, this was 1918, so I went to the Greenville, South Carolina website and looked up who was the City Council in 1918. This is the City Council in 1918. We're going to focus on H.C. Harvey, who is the mayor, because of course he would be part of the decision making in ensuring that this city ordinance against black women and making them work would come to pass. This is his grandson, Cooper White, who passed away in 2017, but who was also the mayor of Greenville, South Carolina. Also a civil rights activist that was elected in 1969 to be the mayor of Greenville, South Carolina during the whole public school integration. According to this article, they said he played a major role in calming the waters during a mid-year order for school desegregation, reached out to the African American community by forming the first biracial committees. During his time as mayor, he prioritized race relations. He pushed creation of a government human relations committee and the need for more mini parks in black neighborhoods. Until then, there was nothing for the black community recreation-wise. Nothing at all. And this is what he said in 2011. But the weird connection and story doesn't stop there. Back to the original newspaper clipping, and I looked a little closer. It said a number of complaints have come to the members of City Council, which means they had been complaining for months, which means there has to be articles talking about whether or not the city ordinance had passed, and I found them. So I did a keyword search of all the newspaper articles in 1918, and of course I found something in May of 1918. Sheriff Rector after vagrants. No excuse for loafing. Black women, worst vagrants to be found hereabout. Will jail them. Doesn't this sound familiar? Here's what Sheriff Rector had to say. There are more black women vagrants than any other class, and I'm going to see that they are put to work. None of them will get easy treatment at my hands. There's another article from 1918, Greenville Daily News. Look at Sheriff Rector's name. Remember that name. Now let's get to this second paragraph. There are too many black women, especially who have no reputable means of livelihood. Female black help is scarce. The reason is generally known. They are not only vagrants, but menaces to health. They are generally believed to be engaged in P. Many of them probably support black vagrants, black male vagrants who are evildoers like those very justifiably slain a short time ago by 2 members of the police force. In a majority of cases, the bad black man is a loafer, and it is usually a black P who supports him. There's another one. W. Von Howard, Director of Employment for the United States Department of Labor at Charleston, has wisely taken up the matter of putting the idle blank labor of the state to work. He also said, I know in other cities throughout the South where we have the N element to contend with, that the police have gone to the D's and notified them that at any given date, if they could show no visible means of support, they would be carried to the recorder as vagrants and made to do work for the city or county. Yes, the city ordinance did pass. The black woman, Layla Smith, says she was innocent, but after the evidence was heard, Judge Daniel thought differently and sentenced her to pay $15 into the county treasury or serve 30 days. She paid her fine. Boop. The white women, Pauline Richards, Jenny Kennedy, and Lucy White, entered pleas of guilty and were sentenced to pay a fine of $30 each or go to jail for a like number of days. They took the days. Another one, 4 black women were brought before the magistrate, John M. Daniels, and charged with vagrants vagrancy. Pleas of guilty were re-entered by the marshal, and they had to pay a fine of $15 or face days in jail. Perfect way to end this video. Now, y'all remember Sheriff Rector had a lot to say about black women in May of 1918. Well, in July of 1919, Sheriff Rector was pew-pewed by a man named Jake Gosnell and passed away. Now, Jake Gosnell said that him and Sheriff Rector were getting into it conversationally, and as soon as Sheriff Rector brought up his mom, the rest was history. I hope you learned something new.